Full audiobook script, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. What if I told you that becoming wealthy has less to do with how smart you are and more to do with how you behave? The truth is, money isn't just about math. It's about psychology. It's about patience when everyone else is rushing. It's about contentment when the world tells you to want more. It's about mastering your emotions, not just your bank account. In his book, The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel reveals timeless lessons that can transform the way you think about wealth, success, and happiness. And here's the secret. You don't need to be a genius, or a risk taker, or born into privilege. All you need is the right mindset, the right psychology, to make money work for you. So stay with me. In the next few minutes, you're about to learn not just how to get rich, but how to stay rich. And most importantly, how to use money to live the life you truly want. Introduction. Money is not just math, it's human. Welcome to ECHOREADS. Today we're diving into one of the most celebrated books in modern finance, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Now, when you think about money, do you think about numbers, investments, maybe a savings account? But here's the surprising truth. Money is less about spreadsheets and more about human behavior. It's not equations that determine financial success. It's your habits, emotions, patience, and choices. In this episode, we'll explore the most powerful lessons from this book. I've condensed them into a 20-minute storytelling journey that will change the way you see wealth, greed, and happiness. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the timeless truths about money. Chapter 1. Compounding, the Silent Millionaire. Albert Einstein once called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. And in finance, compounding isn't just powerful, it's almost magical. Morgan Housel gives the example of Warren Buffett. Did you know that Buffett made over 90% of his wealth after his 65th birthday? That's right. Not because he found a secret formula late in life, but because he started young and let his money grow. The lesson: time matters more than brilliance. You don't need the highest IQ or the fanciest investment strategy. You just need patience. Wealth grows slowly at first, but over decades, it snowballs. That's why consistency beats intensity. Chapter 2. Behavior beats intelligence. In the world of money, being smart helps, but it's not enough. Think of it this way. A genius who can't control their emotions will lose to an average person with discipline. Financial success doesn't belong to the smartest person in the room. It belongs to the calmest. Why? Because markets rise and fall. Fear and greed push people to make bad decisions. The key is emotional control. The real wealth-building skill is not panicking when others do. Chapter 3. Enough is enough. There's a dangerous game people play, always chasing just a little more. Morgan tells the story of Rajat Gupta, a successful businessman who had everything, but risked it all in an insider trading scandal because he wanted more. The lesson? If you don't know when enough is enough, no amount of money will ever satisfy you. Happiness comes from contentment, not endless comparison. Chapter 4. Long-term thinking, the real wealth engine. Getting rich is one thing. Staying rich is another. You don't win by making one lucky investment. You win by surviving, by staying in the game long enough to let compounding work. This means avoiding unnecessary risks. Don't gamble everything on one idea. Don't over-leverage. Don't act like tomorrow is guaranteed. Wealth is like planting a tree. It doesn't grow overnight. But if you protect it, it becomes unshakable. Chapter 5. Luck, Risk, and the Unseen Forces. Here's something most people don't like to admit. Luck plays a huge role in success. Bill Gates became Bill Gates, partly because he had access to one of the only high school computers in the world at the time. But the opposite is also true. Risk can destroy lives overnight. The takeaway? Be humble about your wins and compassionate about others' failures. Not every rich person is a genius, and not every struggling person is lazy. Chapter 6. The Seduction of Wealth versus the Reality of Happiness. Money can buy freedom, comfort, and peace of mind. But beyond a certain point, it doesn't buy happiness. What makes people happiest is not luxury, but control over their time. When you can wake up and decide how to spend your day, without being forced by someone else, that's real wealth. So don't just chase money for money's sake. Chase the life it allows you to live. Chapter 7. Saving, the Unsung Superpower. People often obsess over investing, stocks, real estate, crypto. But here's a hidden truth. Saving is more important than investing. Why? Because saving is 100% in your control. You don't control the stock market. You don't control inflation. But you do control how much you save. Wealth isn't about high income. It's about the gap between income and expenses. In other words, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. Chapter 8. Tails drive everything. Here's a strange fact about investing. Most of the time, things don't matter. But a few rare events change everything. For example, a handful of big stock market days account for most long-term growth. Or think about businesses. Amazon makes most of its profits from a few successful products, while many other ideas fail. The lesson? You don't need to be right all the time. You just need to survive long enough to benefit from the rare, extraordinary wins. Chapter 9. Freedom, the ultimate dividend. Why do we want money in the first place? Not to own a Lamborghini, not to show off. The ultimate goal of money is freedom. Freedom to say no. Freedom to wake up when you want. Freedom to spend your time with people you love. Wealth isn't about being rich, it's about not being controlled. Chapter 10. Stories, Statistics. Finally, let's talk about how we understand money. Most people don't make financial decisions with spreadsheets. They make decisions with stories. That's why bubbles form. That's why panics happen. Because we're not calculators, we're storytellers. The key is to be aware of the stories you tell yourself about money. Are they helping you build wealth or leading you to mistakes? Conclusion: the real psychology of money. So, what's the big picture? Money isn't just numbers, it's behavior. Wealth isn't about beating the market, it's about mastering yourself. The most important lessons: be patient, be humble, save more than you think, protect yourself from risks, and most importantly, use money to live a life that makes you happy. Because at the end of the day, the psychology of money is really the psychology of life. Thank you for listening to ECHOREADS. If this episode inspired you, make sure to subscribe for more audiobook-style summaries of the world's best books. Until next time, stay wise, stay patient, and remember, money is a tool, not the goal.